Just took a picture because you had me
Later realizing that it's not.
And then I realized,
Wait.
oh, it's not even on.
Not even on. You got it on?
Yep.
Okay,
It's good to go.
So, what do you wish to know?
Where were you born?
I was born in the Cedars of Lebanon Hospital in Los Angeles in March, 16th of March, 1932. Supposedly was one of the first Goy babies born in the hospital,
Wow.
in a Jewish hospital. There's a joke in the family anyway. All right, what else do you want to know?
What was it like growing up?
What, in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Oh, that's a lot. You have to start. That's my impressions. Well, one was of the Depression, because there would be people. There would be phone calls every night at 6 o'clock of men desperately looking for work. And calling and asking me, and particularly my father's relatives, looking for work. And then men coming, waiting for my father outside for him to come home. I remember the faces, the desperate faces, pleading, desperate faces of some of those men. And that I have never forgotten. There was no Social Security, unemployment, and so these men were desperate. They were getting kicked out of their housing, and I've had friends that went to school with no shoes and only had one overalls kind of thing to wear. And where the mother would get evicted because she had to support children and raise them, and would get evicted when there was a problem of money or lack of work. And her husband had left and disappeared. And there were many, many stories like that. And stories from friends of mine who were a little older. Remember my friend Hovey talking about his father had an excellent job. So they even had a new car. But there was a relative who was a skilled machinist who hadn't worked for a year and a half, and he slept under the front porch. And this is in Detroit with snowy winters. And, so I was raised on hearing stories and then actually seeing the faces of desperate people looking for work. And other scenes of that I never will forget, But that's enough of that. That's more than you want to do there, probably.
No, it was good. Do you remember what the cost of, say, gas was?
It depends when. I remember it right before the war and right after the war. Regular gas was 25 cents a gallon.
Wow.
In the 30s, it was like 15 cents a gallon for regular gas. But mind you, that gas is, whereas the gas now has a rating of 80 or 85 or even 90 or 92, that gas would be rated at 40 or 50. And so it was a much poorer quality gasoline. But the cars of the era had low compressions. The compressions, today's engines, my Mercedes has a 10.5 or 10. Whereas the cars of that era were 4.5 and 5 compression, so they could run on poor quality fuel. Today you can't.
Makes sense. Okay. Who was the first president you can remember?
First what?
President that you can remember. So,
Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Right. And I remember sitting in front of the radio and hearing President Roosevelt speaking to the nation.
yeah.
There was no television, so we sat and listened to the radio speeches.
Do you know what happened on December 7th, 1941?
Of course. I was in a vacant lot across the street from my parents, and we had dug trenches for having warfare with other kids in the neighborhood, throwing grass with dirt clods at each other. And my mother came across the street and said, "Come home." And that's where we became aware that the Pearl Harbor was attacked. And I had a aunt of mine.
You want your pie?
Yes.
Or you want, what kind of pie do you want? Pecan, pumpkin?